Hallo Leute und damit herzlich willkommen zu einem weiteren Video von mir, einem Tastatur. Wir spielen heute wieder Stanley's Parable. Oder The Stanley Parable.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
Ich habe den Computer ausgemacht. Macht mich das jetzt besonders? Wir versuchen es diesmal anders. Oh, hier ist noch einer. Da ist eine Tür offen. Ist das ein Ladebildschirm? Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Machen wir diesmal. Seien wir so ein Mensch.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Und jetzt sagen wir mal nein. Einfach nein. Wir gehen einfach mal runter. Oh, hier ist ein... Das ist kein Knopf. Sieht aus wie ein Knopf.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Alles klar.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Ha. Nun gut, das war auch ein Ending. Es hat offensichtlich viele Endings, also schätze ich, dass das kein ewig endloses Spiel ist, sondern es mehrere Endings hat. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ja, wo könnte das hin sein? Ich habe keine Lust mehr auf dich, als Maul.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ich bin traurig, der Computer ist nicht mehr an. Page reserved. Kann das sein, dass... Okay. Ich behalte die Computer mal im Auge.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, mache ich mal. Wir hatten ja noch im Bossraum irgendwo einen Weg. Ich unterbreche ihn zwar jetzt ein paar Mal, aber das hatten wir ja schon in der ersten Folge, die ihr euch übrigens auch mal angucken könnt.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Werde ich auch tun, weil ich nicht wirklich Lust habe, nochmal insane zu werden.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Nein, nicht 255.
What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Yeah.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Ich hätte das nicht so schnell machen sollen.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Gibt es hier eigentlich auch noch eine andere Möglichkeit? Kann ich hinten lang? Hier hinten geht's nicht lang. Das ist übrigens sehr gesund hier. Ja, sehr gesund. So gesund sogar, dass ich... Ist das ein neuer Gang? Ne, den hatten wir schon, okay. Ich bin bloß
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Tut mir leid, ich kann nicht lesen.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Ist mir ehrlich gesagt egal, ob ich
sterbe. At this
sterbe.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Na komm, bring mich um. Trau dich. Ich bin nicht tot. Er hat mich angelogen.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Come on, töte mich. Ich hab's verdient. Ich war ganz böse. Oh, come on.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Das war ja jetzt mal ein Zufall. Ha ha ha. The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Da bin ich gespawnt, da kann ich lang. Office Layout. The Blueprints of the... Ja, okay. Ja, da geht's auch lang. Und hier wurde meine Decision getroffen. The two doors. The Office. Kann ich rein. Wow. Die haben andere Töne als sonst. Buttons, Sounds. Das sind interessante Sounds, die wollte ich schon immer mal hören. Office Computers. Ich wollte schon immer mal Office Computer ausmachen. Ja, mein Leben ist erfüllt. Oh, Credit. Das ist auch eine coole Art, Credits einzubauen. Interessant.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It will be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Nö. Tja, Time hat mich besiegt. Ich kann ja später nochmal versuchen, da Quit zu drücken. Ich glaube, ich muss neu starten, oder? Okay. Mein einziges Problem ist jetzt, dass der Computer, den ich da hatte, wahrscheinlich jetzt nicht meine Erfolge gespeichert hat, weil ich hatte ja hier so einen tollen Computer irgendwo rumstehen. Die sind jetzt alle immer noch aus. Das finde ich super. Du bist nicht aus.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you and have a pleasant day.
Das ist schon ironisch, das aufzunehmen. Ja, der Computer existiert nicht mehr. Warum auch immer. Ich bin sehr glücklich mit meiner Wahl gewesen.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh ja, was für eine
The
schöne
lounge
Lounge.
was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Na, machen wir das mal.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Das kam mir sinnvoller vor. Entschuldigung.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Okay. Ich hab Geduld, ich warte.
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ich glaube, er hat selbst keine Ahnung, oder?
No,
Doch, tatsächlich schon.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to...
Fired.
Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Aber diesmal ist das Telefon nicht geklingelt. Der Computer ist immer noch aus. Die Türen sind zu. Nee, hier sind mehr.
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come,
Wow.
Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ich will da ein. Okay, das sind die typischen Wege. Das hier ist sowieso ein Weg und das da auch. Hier lang. Da lang. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Das ist ein fucking großes Labyrinth. Da lang.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again.
Ah, okay.
But it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay. Ich schätze, der macht gerne das Spiel kaputt. Denn
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Du gehst noch aus. Huch, nein, ich wollte die Tür nicht zumachen. Na, come on.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ich hatte ein paar Computer ausgemacht. Das war vielleicht... Die Tasse Kaffeetasse ist runtergefallen. Kann ich die Computer wieder anmachen? Nein. Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Soll ich jetzt nochmal vorlaufen?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Das sieht ja sehr sauber hier aus.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so
danke.
Good job.
Ich habe das so verdient, danke.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Doch!
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay, das wird jetzt wieder interessant. Auch wenn er mir jetzt meinen Sieg weggenommen hat. Das finde ich jetzt echt...
Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Okay, mache ich gerne.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Ja! Meine Ohren bluten.
cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
Was?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay. Gut, hab's. Boah, das war jetzt ganz schön einfach.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Oh, wieder eine Linie.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ja, das ist eine super Idee.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
Ich schätze, es wird ein ewiger
Use your imagination.
Gang am Drehen.
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Du also auch, okay.
Oh, no, not you again.
Die
Stanley,
Linie kommt zurück.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Es tut mir leid, diese Linie haut einfach jetzt ab. Das ist super. Ja, wir haben es geschafft.
A
Hier sind die
choice.
zwei.
We
Ja.
get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important, we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Klar.
Okay,
Warte, was
so
wenn
I
ich
know
im
that each
Gegenrennen
door
mache?
has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Kann ich auch links rein? Ach, Manno.
Oh, hold up, what's this?
The confusion
The
ending.
confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually.
Passt schon.
Well, in the meantime...
hat's restarted. So, jetzt sollte alles wieder in Ordnung sein, oder nicht? Ich bin mir nicht
sicher. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, was passiert jetzt? Das war jetzt... Okay, es scheint alles wieder in Ordnung zu sein.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the
Dann gehe
meeting
ich
room,
diesmal
and
hier
Stanley knew
lang.
it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Genau. Was passiert, wenn ich jetzt hier
And so he
durchmache?
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ach so, wow, okay, das ist halt wirklich back on track. Komme ich hier dann wieder raus? Ist jetzt die... Nein, natürlich nicht. Aber gut, okay, dann gehe ich hier weiter.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Was passiert, wenn ich hier drin bleibe? Weil dieses Spiel geht davon aus, dass ich wirklich alles tue.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Ich hab Zeit. Leute, ihr werdet das wahrscheinlich im Zeitraffer sehen, deswegen einfach viel Spaß haben und so. I don't know. Aber nun gut, ich bin faul und habe keine Lust, da zu warten.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ja, das war der Fall nicht da. Because the boss knows that what the boss says, gas ist... Boah, was? Warum? Ich bleib hier drin. Also was der Boss aussucht, ist auch gesetzt. Gut so. Aber ich möchte gerne in diesem Bad bleiben. Extreme Bathrooms. Extreme Toiletten! Ich finde das lustig, weil vorher konnte ich dann nicht rein. Aha. Ich habe den... Perfekt. Ich habe das Spiel schon wieder ausgetrickst. Glaube ich. Ein Fahrstuhl. Der nach unten geht. Ich möchte aber nach oben. Nach oben. Hier drin ist es grisselig. Das sieht genauso aus wie vorher. Die Tür war auch schon vorher offen. Hier konnte ich auch vorher nicht durch. Dann gehe ich eine Etage nach unten. Und wir hören tolle Warteraummusik. Yay. Ich finde das ja auch super, dass der Erzähler auch gar nicht mehr geredet hat. Dieser Fahrstuhl ist tatsächlich bloß dazu da, dass man da die ganze Zeit drin rumhocken kann. Ich liebe diesen Fahrstuhl, er ist einfach perfekt. So, Stanley ist ganz froh über
I
sein
can't
Leben.
wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
Weil ich gerade eben restartet habe, während ich eigentlich das Ende hätte machen sollen. Meinst du das, oder? Deswegen werden wir alle lachen?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja.
Stanley felt lightheaded. butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Nein! Das hat mich gerade eben in eine Falle gelockt. Ich mag das nicht.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
Wir sehen uns da.
To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's
Na gut, dann hebe ich mal ab. Interessant. 4, 2,
Is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh, hallo.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Ich glaube, ist ein bisschen wütend auf mich.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Nein. Dies werde ich nicht tun. Es tut mir leid, aber ich habe eine Wahl und diese werde ich auch nutzen. Yeah, come on.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Ich habe hier... Ach doch, das ist
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Wird gleich mein
The
Büro.
thought excited him terribly.
Ja, das verwandelt sich
So
mit
he
meinem
went
Büro, oder?
further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Aber ich habe doch gar keine Frau.
But there is no answer. How
Genau.
could there possibly be? In reality, all
Ja,
he
das
is
wird mein
pushing
Büro.
the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Für mich ist das durchaus eine Lösung. Oder
You
auch nicht.
see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Bitte stirb, Alter. Ja, wahrscheinlich. Okay, ab hier muss ich wahrscheinlich restarten. Nein, es lädt, okay. Aber es hat sich automatisch restartet. Okay, Leute. Dann war's das mit der zweiten Folge und wir finden wahrscheinlich beim nächsten Mal mehr Endings raus und das hier wird immer ekliger. Ich kann mir schon vorstellen, warum das so einen Hype hatte. Ich glaube jedenfalls, dass es einen Hype hatte. Auf jeden Fall mag ich es. Und wir sehen uns bei den nächsten Endings. Haut rein und ciao. Leute.